Any questions, Anna? Any questions from anyone? You guys can also just raise your hands. We don't have to have an intermediary unless you want to. You can just raise your hand. Or comments. Does anyone have a comment? If you don't want to have a question, you can comment. That's cool too. Any challenges? Anyone want to challenge any of my convictions? Susan, good to see you.
Hey, Kate. Thanks so much again for impeccable timing. In my journey here, we were talking about our zone of genius, and that was a big aha because I keep staying in the zone of excellence. I like working with clients, all this stuff. It's just easy. The intuition is there. It's very clear. But to package up what I'm really being called to do next, the biggest challenges I'm finding is, how do I get the tangible results in that marketing package and get that really clear? Intuition is not tangible. And so the results are a little bit more amorphous for me, or just elusive for me to bring that to market in a real practical sense as well.
Yeah. So have you done Lead the Journey yet? Because troubleshooting with Anna can help. So I would get back on with Anna and figure that out. But I would also ask yourself, like, what are the results of your intuition? What is the result of that?
Okay. Yeah, people come to me for all different things, which is really confusing too, just to synthesize it down into like the next course I'm actually offering, the result, and in the tangible buckets, money, wealth, health, and relationship. And it becomes all of that. So then to distill it down into one thing and say,
you don't have to distill it down into one thing.
Oh, okay. So then the packaging of that is just focus on the how, or is it?
No. And I mean, that the how is the behind the scenes. How you get people to results is different than what the results are. So in general, most people are actually turned off by how.
Right.
And that's why how doesn't work very well in marketing. Hey, you're so welcome, Raylan. How is important to know, because at some point people are going to ask you like, well, how do you do it? You're like, well, this is how we do it.
That's the system, that's the formula, that's the step-by-step, right? And so people don't want to know the mechanics of it. They want to know shiny new car,
Exactly. Okay. Exactly. So yeah, I mean, often results are not just in one domain. I mean, I would say for all of you, your results are they're not just in one domain. They're in multiple domains. And so what is that? And then what are some of your convictions, right, that really speak to the results? And that's how I would do it. So you probably have convictions around those different categories of health and wealth and relationship. And I would look at those core convictions and I would look at the results that you can get people to within that time frame. You guys, the other big reason I do not advocate for less than a year is you'll get stuck in a sales process. And the more you're stuck in marketing and sales, the less you're doing the deep healing work with people, and you're just constantly launching things and you're wondering how people do it and how much you actually have to learn about digital marketing. And did you really sign up to be a healer, to be a digital marketing expert? And it's terrible, really. I mean, I do not want to lose our healers to digital marketing, because you'll lose, because you're going up against professional digital marketers globally. And it's insanely competitive and it's very pricey. And if you don't know what you're doing, all you do is lose money and you put your time in, and it's frustrating. So if you're in these things, and then a lot of people come to us in yoga health coaching, they're like, well, I just want to do this thing for 10 weeks. And it's like, great. And then you're going to be launching 6 times a year, and people don't want to sign up for the thing because they just signed up for that other thing that was only 10 weeks. And it's making it way too complex, especially when you look at what do people really need to get to the results? How much time do they really need to get to the results? Okay.
Thank you. That was helpful just to know that it's all those buckets. And so focus on end result. And even if it is intuitive, it can still have a result that is very tangible for people. quantifiable, some of it, but there's some qualitative components to it that really can speak to people. And the people that would be attracted to the energy I have are people who are more in tune or more interested in that for the natural selection. At least that's my conviction too. You know, telling people that intuition is helpful and it works for people who are not believing anything in that and they're looking still to medical journals is a kind of a disconnect on that. But maybe that's something I need to look at to find my tribe.
Depends how inclusive you want to be. So I would look at it that way, because there's probably a way for you to find where intuition intersects with the population that you feel like needs you, but might not be as keen to that, and then to change language around that.
Yeah. And the marketing thing, you're right about the slot machine with trying to figure out the casino always wins, you know, with the digital
the casino always wins. That's a good way of putting it.
And it really is. It's like, but then where do you find that in the cyber world now? A lot of us had to, get really hip to Zoom asana and stuff like that, which is fine. We're fairly literate by now if we're still here,
Yeah.
But, where to find that package and how to market that very skillfully. And is that what's in yoga health coaching? Is that your program for the year? Just to clarify what that journey looks like.
Yeah, so yoga health coaching is a 2-year program, because we actually find that that's what it takes to help people iterate a system where they can break their glass ceiling repetitively if they want, and to keep scaling their impact. So it's a lot of things. So there is a component in the beginning just around pricing, packaging, and getting your pilot off the ground, right? Because without that, then we can't really work with you as a leader and a leader of dynamic groups. So then that's where the next component comes, is with your coaching and with your leadership within your coaching. In a lot of the issues that come up usually after you get your pilot off the ground are actually more around marketing and sales. And so after you've kind of killed the low-hanging fruit in order to get your pilot off the ground, and it's like, what do you really need to do? Yeah. What do you really need to do long-term for your marketing skills and for your sales skills that work for a business model where you don't have to be launching things every 10 weeks.
So you turn,
and then after that, it goes more into, like, it was interesting that what I've seen with the yoga health coaches that really apply the method is, as they grow, then we demonstrate everything that we teach. And so we have a Path to Leadership program that shows you how to build infrastructure for your core group to grow. And again, it goes back to that slide where it's like, instead of you being in the middle of everything, you actually grow other leaders in your community to start mentoring the group. And we find that really effective. It's a really dynamic leadership model. So the second year goes more into, unique marketing to you, but also leadership and the leadership development in the community. So there's a lot. And the reason what we found, you guys, the reason it's 2 years isn't because it takes 2 years to get results. I know in the August class, like someone just reported, they already have, 2 months in. It was 10 weeks in, she had ROI on her. It's a $15K investment. And a lot of people pay that over 18 months, right? So it's not like all at once, but she already made return on investment 10 weeks in. And that's not unusual, right? Mm-hmm. Because it's a return on investment program. I know where the rubber meets. I'm a businesswoman. I'm a healer too. I know where the rubber meets the road. And if you're not putting the plan into action, that means you're not making money. And the whole point of it is for healers you guys should all be paid well for doing good work and getting people to results, but you need different skills along the way to do that. Yeah. So it's a lot. So what we find is that return on investment should definitely happen within the first 6 to 9 months of the program. For some people, it's much faster than that. So then why do we have to stick around for the second year? And the reason is community of belonging. Like, once you find a group of colleagues that helps you grow, that really helps you grow and isn't afraid of your growth, right? Isn't going to be, you know how some people are like, they're kind of cheering you on and they're kind of jealous, or they're kind of whatever, they have their own subconscious shadow issues. This is not like that. This is like a high functioning colleague community that loves to collaborate. And so what we found is that people want to stick around. Now, we didn't want people, and this was, this was a big decision for us. that we wanted to test, and now we're sticking to it because it works so well. We didn't want people to have to make a decision to stay or go. It was just like, no, we know it works. We know you're going to want to stay. Why? Because everyone wants to stay. So let's just make it so that you only make the hard decision. And it is a hard decision. It's a hard decision to invest in yourself. Most of you have an easier decision to investing in your children than you do in investing in your own ability to make money. And, most people have an easier decision investing in their house than they do in their own ability to make money. Like we make really irrational decisions a lot around money. Someone wrote that book. Who wrote not emotional equations. It was Daniel Goleman who wrote Emotional Intelligence, and he's really focused on how people use money, and it's highly irrational. And we know that. So we know that we want to get you to results. We know that if we have the extra year, you're going to relax that first year, and you're going to learn the things the harder parts that you really need to learn, and you're going to have time to then build on the hard skills. And we know we have the community that'll surround you with the kind of guidance, the kind of leadership that you need. And that's how we make decisions around here. We always go to results. Like, how do we get people to results? What actually works? And I've had many business coaches over time be like, you can't sell a 2-year program. No one's going to want to be in it for that long, blah, blah, blah. People won't invest, blah, blah, and it goes on. And it's like, well, it works. And that's what we do. And that's what we've continued to do. And it's grown, and it's just, I get teary-eyed with the yoga health coaches. You guys are amazing. And I've learned so much from you all, and you all learn so much from each other. And to be part of a dynamic colleague group like that, based on the same business model, it just makes it so much easier to connect and support each other and grow, because people aren't using all these different business models. Everyone's using the same one, basically lead the journey, lead based on results, get skin in the game, get the sales skills that you are going to need. Everyone needs sales skills at the next level. Sales skills is an ongoing training around here. And it's, that's just how these things work. Marketing skills, the same thing. Why? Marketing's changing. Marketing changes faster than anything. And to be with people that are doing it in real time and giving you the, without holding anything back, giving you the what's working, what's not working right now, boy, that saves just a ton of time. And anyone who tries to figure out things on your own, imagine trying to do that healing journey on your own. It doesn't work. You just get stuck. You hit your head in the same places, and then you get a bruise there. Then some people give up, and I don't want to see any wellness pros give up. The world needs you way too much in the next 20 years. I promise you all that. Yeah. Okay, I'll get off my soapbox. Thanks, Susan.
You're welcome. I like your soapbox. Thanks.
Okay, cool. Jean and then Beverly. Jean Lee, it's been a while. Good to see you, lady. Hold on, you're muted. Wait, hold on. Where's it?
Mute. There we go. Yay! Can you hear me now? Yay! I'm in Utah. Can you see?
I can see.
Yeah, and this is my little house. So
awesome.
I'm excited. I've been doing the yoga detox, which has been awesome. So I thank you for that. And I'm just wondering, when does the next yoga health coaching course start?
When do we start, Anna? We start in November.
In November. Okay. I will be, how about the one after that?
End of January or beginning of February? Yeah.
Okay, so they start, okay, good to know. All right.
Yeah.
I hope.
Why don't you get on with Anna, and she'll help you troubleshoot and think it through. What I like to help people do is, and this is something that I do, is I always make decisions based on when I want results by. Yeah,
and I also have some things. I'm heading to Guatemala next week to do yoga training, which I'm super excited about. So that will be my November, and then we'll stay in Central America for another month, and then I'll be back, and then I can be more prepared to start things then. So it's so good to talk to you, Kate. And
yeah, you too. Good to see you.
Yeah. Okay.
Have a great trip. Bye.
I am. Okay.
Beverly, hi. Good to see you too.
Thanks, Kate. Thanks for everything. It's always fantastic So there's been a lot of aha moments for me out of this. I just think, oh, I know all of this, but why am I doing it? But a lot of things came out of the conviction. I'm going back to my childhood and wondering why in my programs, I've got this background thing about I want to help people shift that weight, because like you said about the acknowledging the body is beautiful, but we don't need to be carrying so much excess weight, because it is this heaviness and the what it can lead to. So and I realized that I had that problem as a child, and I had a lot of emotional eating issues attached to that. So that kind of brought to light that. But the Zone of Genius was fantastic. And I just put in the chat that I just let go of a yoga studio that I built up from nothing after 7 years, and handed it on to one of my teachers who I trained. Just waiting. I know there's something there for me, but I'm just not sure. But this is kind of leading into it now. So I knew I was on the edge of evolvement. So this has been great. And the thing I just wanted to ask you, the other thing was just having the 1 year program, which I've been doing, but I did do a shorter program this last term, last season with a group. And the feedback was just by doing 12 weeks is just like, wow, we can see why you usually do this over a year.
Yeah.
It was just too much. So next year, it's just going to be 1 year. But again, I was still thinking of having enrollments each season like I've been doing. But now I think what you said about, I just felt like I was getting tired of the enrollment and all of the marketing of it. If I just did an enrollment, just one enrollment at the start of the year for a year, and just have one big enrollment. But as one person, how could I manage that? I know it'd be a great if I could have a larger group. I usually have, at the moment, I'm managing 20 in my group at the moment. And that's quite a lot. And I've got a couple of mentors in there assisting me. So yeah, if I just did one enrollment for the whole year, how would that kind of look, I suppose?
Okay. So what we do in, it's like what we do in YHC is like, you can have one group in multiple enrollments, so that if someone meets you and they are a good fit, that they could start in the next month or two. And that's really where we're at. When were you in YHC?
I started in 2019.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just that model of like, you can do it all at once. And we used to do that with Living Our Ayurveda course, where it was just like every October, single class, one start date, everyone went through it the same lessons at the same time. And it worked great for everyone that wanted to start studying Ayurveda in October and go on their self-healer journey or family healer journey, which is the target for that course. But it didn't work well at all for people who found out about us in November or December or January or February. And so we invented all this stuff, like Living Our Ayurveda course prep school, like these little things to like tide people over till the main thing started. And what happened over time is where we landed was with Living Our Ayurveda course. I think we have 3 start dates a year. Now with that, with Body Thrive, we have monthly start dates, so that people can start every month. And part of that is just because when people are ready, they're ready. And if people are ready, like, we want to capitalize on readiness. We want to accelerate readiness through marketing. That's the job of marketing. Like right now, this falls under marketing for our company right now. Like if I were to bill this hour to Yoga Healer, because I'm an employee of Yoga Healer, like this hour goes to marketing, but it's fostering readiness, right? It's getting people more ready to take action. It's pointing our attention into something. It's deepening our understanding of what'll get us to the results. And if the course then is the next step, then it's how marketing leads to sales. That's the business model that, I really stand behind, is like foster readiness through marketing and be helpful. Like be helpful every step of the way to help people get closer to results. That takes care of a lot of onboarding, so that when people join the courses, they're ready. They know it's right for them. They've done the research. They've hung out enough around us to be like, yeah, I trust her. I trust this company. And they're ready to go. So to have it so long before the next start date, it's not advantageous to people getting results. And that was one of the biggest reasons that we changed it. As long as you know when those start dates are, you could still do one major launch and then continue to add a few people in, whether it's each quarter or each trimester.
So that then,
but it's not a 12-week course. It's a year-long course. No. So then the way that you build it, like the way that I do it, is that the curriculum is linear. So when someone starts, they start with lesson 1, then they go to lesson 2, but that's automated. Right. Yeah. And then the live coaching is non-linear. And it's that way for a reason. Like there's people in here right now. Darlene, when did you join YHC? Well, you're muted. You're like a year in, right?
2020.
Yeah.
I'm a year in. Yeah.
Did you learn anything today?
Absolutely. I always find something to learn with whatever it is that you're saying. What I do is, what I'm glad, I'm in the mastery group right now.
So what did you learn today? From exactly where you're at right now that you can apply this week?
My convictions and how to speak more towards that.
And you've heard me say that before, right? Like this isn't the first time I've told you about convictions and beliefs. No. Something landed deeper today?
It landed deeper because of what you mentioned, that some people are introverts and some people, if you're speaking in your zone of genius, it'll go on for, you can talk for hours. So the only reason you get that is from your actual experience, not from, picking something out of a book or something that you learned or just something that you want to teach, but something that you really feel that you believe, and that can go on forever. And that makes a whole difference. It makes a huge difference. Yeah.
So what action do you think you'll take from being here today?
What action is something that I should have taken way before I started, because my pilot has developed into a 15-person group right now.
Woohoo!
And it's amazing. And I don't even come from a line of healers for many years. I've always dabbled in the health and wellness. I'm a chef. And I actually took a certification of Western nutrition, which I didn't believe in. And I do believe in, I met Ayurveda, fell in love, and it just clicked, everything clicked. So, I'm an herbalist, I'm a chef, and now I'm just trying to meld Ayurveda into all of our daily living and modern living. And that is just amazing. I had an aneurysm in 2007. And later, and I come from advertising company, fast-paced, drinking and meetings after meeting, and just really, helping other people thrive instead of myself, helping companies thrive. And I said, wait a minute, how can we focus on helping other companies and people thrive when we're like burning the candle on both ends? So I took a different approach. So I took my culinary expertise, my herbalist expertise, and then with Ayurveda now it's amazing. So now since 2011, I'm telling you, I got divorced. I started a new company. This is all just through YHC and the simplicity of the strategies and the marketing is gotten me here today. So yes, I have a return on my investment tenfold.
Yay. Awesome. So, that's the thing, right? Like we have to hear things again and again, and we're at a different point because the actions that we just took are now leverageable with the actions that we'll take next. And that's how it continues to work. Like I was just at a podcasting event this past weekend at She Podcasts. And if I hadn't podcasted for 10 years, I may have had a really different experience than the experience I had. But because I podcasted for 10 years and I've done so many things over time, I was able to be there and learn what I needed to learn right now. Right. And that's to me how there's a huge advantage to that. So part of the reason I wanted Darlene to speak for Beverly's question is that experienced members and new members learn from each other. And there's tremendous leverage in that. And it's a much more accelerated learning path than a group of beginners starting. And even in a group of beginners, there's still multiple levels in any group of beginners. So what I know from yoga health coaching is like some beginners come in and they just crush it, right? Why? Because they came in and they already had some sales and marketing skills. They already had a bunch of stuff put together. They had a lot to leverage coming in. So they get the business model, they get the community, they get guiders. So they get needs lighting a fire under their ass and like, bam, like they make a lot of money really fast. And then they keep doing that. Right. And then what happens is that people that have been around for a while are like, who's that? Like, who's the new person that's on fire in here? Right. And then they get inspired. But what also happens is that new people come in and they don't have all those skills and they're able to leverage from people that do. And they're able to see that it works. And because it's a super, like, what we really value is a super dynamic community, that it's a growth community, that everyone supports each other's growth, that you have people that are really experienced supporting people that don't have that much experience. And that feels really good if you don't have that much experience. You have all these people with a lot more experience looking out for you, supporting you, cheering you on, and giving you guidance and leadership. Man, that's dynamic. And that's what I call a dynamic group model. So I don't want a group of beginners going step by step together as the only option. I want that and the small group in with the bigger group where you really feel the momentum of the whole community. The other thing that happens is because we're global and because we have a lot of specialization within the community, like I want the mental health therapist to connect with the mental health therapist. I want the yoga therapist to connect with the yoga therapist. I want the nurses to connect with the nurses and the doctors with the doctors, et cetera. Because when those connections happen, what we find over time is like people do find their new best friends here. And what I've seen over time, this is something I've been paying attention to this past week. And I find it really fascinating is members that were in 5-6 years ago, when they post on Facebook, I read the comments and I look for how many people did they meet in yoga health coaching. Usually it's over 50%. Even though they might be done with yoga health coaching years ago, over 50% of the people commenting, meaning the people they're still connecting with and supported by and co-leading with, they found here. And that's, to me, a sign of a highly functional network, right? That it just keeps giving back to you year after year. And to me, that part of that is because we want to develop a very collaborative environment as healers. Like we all need each other for healthier communities around the planet.